Hello everybody, my name is Sneaky Fancy Pants, and welcome to all the Plants vs. Zombies games, ranked, and basically I'm just going to be talking about all the Plants vs. Zombies games from number 7, so there's 7 Plants vs. Zombies games, and then the best Plants vs. Zombies game, which will be number 1, to the worst Plants vs. Zombies game, which will be number 7, or I'll start from 7, go to 1, like countdown, like the best ones, basically what you see on YouTube all the time. So, I'm just gonna get straight into this, because a bunch of people have already interrupted me, so it takes a while to get done, so I'm just gonna jump into it. So, at number 7, we have Plants vs. Zombies Adventures, which is kind of the worst out of all the Plants vs. Zombies, because it was a Facebook game. It didn't really do too much. The only really purpose that it ever had was just give backstory, and it gave a decent amount of backstory, but it didn't really do as much. So, yeah, that's it. There's not really much to talk about it. It's just kind of, it's just kind of an extra game that you can get on Facebook, which I don't think you can get anymore. But yeah, it was a Facebook game. And coming in at number 6, we have Plants vs. Zombies Heroes. And Plants vs. Zombies Heroes is a mobile game, which you can still get now on iOS, Android, and all that other crap. And basically, it's just a card game like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or like Pokemon or something, where it's basically a card game in the App Store, basically, where you just do cards versus cards. And it doesn't really do as much. Honestly, this game, if it was just taken out of the entire, if this game was just like deleted or something, I don't think anyone would really care, because it doesn't do too much either. Now, coming in number 5, we have Plants vs. Zombies 2. And the reason why I put Plants vs. Zombies kind of in the middle of all of it, or Plants vs. Zombies 2 in the middle of it, is because it is a good game, but the only reason why it's this low is because every other game is like really good, and then all of them are so good that it comes down to the very little details that will set them apart from each other. But on Plants vs. Zombies 2, some levels are just kind of hard to beat, but I mean, there's not really too much wrong with it. It's just a pretty solid game, but all the other games are just really, really good. So, coming in at number 4, we have Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. And Garden Warfare is actually it's probably one of the most exciting out of all the games, just because it does take a lot out of the original game. It has very similar graphics, it has very similar, like, zombies and all that. And it also brought, it changed the most out of all the Plants vs. Zombies game, or PvZ games. I'm just gonna say PvZ, it's easier. And it kind of changed all the PvZ games that we know today, like Battle for Neighborville and all that. But the leveling up in the game was kind of garbage. You had to do, like, challenges, which weren't that fun. It was kind of annoying. And overall, nobody really liked it. So, yeah, I mean, the only reason why you would really want to play it now is just for the nostalgia. I mean, if you're gonna play a better game, just play a better game, because the PvZ Garden Warfare isn't the best. But, coming in at number 3, we have Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. And, the reason why I wanted Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville to be at number 3 is because, it's not as good as the last two, and also because it's solid. It's a decent game. I would play it, especially it is the newest Plants vs. Zombies at the time this year, and it's kind of your average Plants vs. Zombies third-person shooter. But the graphics are kind of weird. They look better. Like, the graphics are more put together, but it doesn't really give you that Plants vs. Zombies feel. It's more like, the Garden Warfare kind of were with the first Plants vs. Zombies ever made. That PvZ kind of looks like the graphics in Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, while in Battle for Neighborville, their graphics look like the Plants vs. Zombies 2, where every zombie and plant kind of look cute in a weird way, where they look more like babies. But anyways, Battle for Neighborville is alright, but there's just a lot of I don't know, like some of the plants are unbalanced and a lot of them don't do as well, and it's just not the best. And finally, at number 2, we have Plants vs. Zombies 1. And the reason why it's not first is because, well, I'll get into that later, but the main reason why it is number 2 is that it was the game that started it all, and it was the most cool, like, how it was made and all. It was probably, like, the best. Like, it just started off of a cardboard, like, box game or whatever, and yeah, it was just pretty much just, you know, it was just made off of scratch. And this was before you know, the franchise was big. Obviously, it was the first game, and PopCap went with the developers of the game, which I forget the names because I forgot my research because I'm dumb. But anyways, the Plants vs. Zombies 1 is the coolest, it is the most nostalgic, it was the first, it's it's very strategic as well, compared to all the other games in the franchise. Like, Plants vs. Zombies 2 is strategic, but it's not as strategic because there's certain plants that give you, better things, while all the plants in the first game were all, like, kind of even. Like, they had they didn't have broken powers, they didn't have broken this, they didn't have, the zombies were all good. There were zombies that could counter plants and plants that could counter zombies, and it was all very strategic and good. And it doesn't cost as much, which is probably it's the second best game in the franchise in my opinion, so it is worth your money. While, say, a game like, Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare isn't as good, but Plants vs. Zombies 1 is pretty good. Like, I would rather pay for Plants vs. Zombies 1 than 2, but anyways, coming at the number 1 spot is Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, which is probably why I'm using footage of this game rather than any other game for the video. And the main reason why is Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, it just has so much that you can do. You can, you can do the whole Trials of Nomus. The graphics still look more like the original game, which the original game graphics are the best. And plus, this is the game that probably people that aren't Garden Warfare fans or Plants vs. Zombies fans in general, this is the game that will probably get people hooked on Plants vs. Zombies, just because it is the more better Plants vs. Zombies for the time. If you don't like classic games, then Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 is probably for you, just because Plants vs. Zombies, the original, is more of like a 2D, almost Mario kind of game where everything's flat. And while this is like a 3D, and you're moving around, and there's constant fighting, and it's not as strategic as the first game, but it's still a pretty fun game. But the main reasons why is there's just so much you can do in it. You can do, like, missions as a story mode. It adds way more backstory to the original, the original, game, which I will, in the description below, type in a video that you guys can search up for the full backstory of the game, which it is a theory, but I personally think the theory is really good, so I'm just gonna put it down in the description, just like the video itself, and you can click on it for this guy. But anyways, like the trial, like in this game, there's the Trial of Nomus, which you do to unlock Torchwood and the Goat 3000. There's just so much that you can do in this game, and I think it does, like, represent Plants vs. Zombies pretty good compared to, like, Plants vs. Zombies Heroes and Plants vs.